Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women. That is good.
Hello, welcome to the Wahoo Warrior. This will be the first of 3 matches at a tournament, a one-day hobby store tournament down in Kansas City, Missouri. Kansas City, Kansas, wherever it was, Kansas City. And the game store here, the tabletop game and hobby in Overland Park, super nice game store, super nice facility. Lots of room, lots of open in the back for game tables. Great store, great people. Everyone I talked to there was really friendly. I always like going to tournaments outside the local area where I live, even though I haven't been going to very many of those around here. But you get there and you get to see a lot of different armies, and I think every army out of the army book was represented by somebody, which is always really nice to see. A lot of variation, and so I don't know if you're watching my other videos, but I'm taking a kind of a gun line here. Here's my list, and it's 40 Thunders, got 12 Iron Drakes, got some hammers, 15 of them, some Slayers, 2 cannons, 2 organ guns, and a gyro. And you know, gun line, I kind of think, I watch videos and they say it's not very fun to play against, but it's a hard counter to some other armies that are out there, and I think it also makes for varying play styles for opponents when they make army lists. Because my first opponent was against Dark Elves, and I'll go over my deployment here first and then go over his a little bit. But I had to roll a 1 or a 2, you know, left to right deployment, and I ended up with rolling 1s on these. So I ended up with a gyrocopter and an organ gun on the left. So they're kind of out of position where I'd normally be. Everything else was either got to put on started on the right, or if a unit had fortitude, you were able to place it wherever you wanted, as far as the 3 zones. So that was kind of interesting twist. So I've got my Slayers here, kind of guarding my cannon, the side where my cannon is. I know he's got those riders, they're pretty fast. I think I had vanguarded my Iron Drakes out just a little bit, so to make sure that they could get a first turn shot if I win first turn. And then I've got my Thunderers in horde formation with all my characters in there, kind of right dab in the middle. And then organ gun, my other cannon, and my 15 hammers to guard my right side flank. The Dark Elf list, I think, is a very competitive tournament list, and I didn't take very good pictures of his deployment. So if you can see on his, from right to left, he's got some Dark Riders, 2 Hydras back there in the kind of behind the woods. That unit of I think it's Corsairs. He hasn't moved it yet. He just rolled the zones he has to be in, so he's rearranging them a little bit. But he has a block of Corsairs. They're kind of like his backup Witch Elves. And then he has the Cauldron with about 30 or so Witch Elves. And he's got some kind of character riding a chariot who buffs units within so much of her, and she can do the stoning stare or whatever. So they put those Corsairs back there, and then he's got another unit of Dark Riders right in front of him, and he's got his girl on the chariot thing. I think he rolled her, had to be on the right quadrant, so that's why they're kind of just close to each other. So he's planning to merge them together, and he's got her back there to try to protect her from organ guns or cannonballs. So there's my Rangers. I scouted them out there, so he couldn't really vanguard. Rangers are really, that's their only purpose, is to keep that fast cav from vanguarding too close on before the game even starts. So I think I'm done deploying first, or yeah, I had to set up my whole army first in this scenario, and then he tried to steal initiative and did not, so I get first turn. He knew I was going to have first turn 5 out of 6, so that's kind of why I deployed behind some rocks and things like that. I had vanguarded my right Iron Drakes up there too. So I take first turn. Iron Drakes are within range of that chariot of the Cauldron, so they fire at it. I've got one of my 2 organ guns in range of it, so I unload on that with that. And at this turn, I try to put 2 cannonballs through the thing, and one of my cannons, I believe, misfires and doesn't blow up though, and the other cannon I hit but didn't wound. So you can see the witch elves are depleted quite a bit, and actually this is after the organ gun shooting, and then I fire a little more into it on turn 1, I think the iron drakes, and I'm able to kill about 5 more of them. So you can tell he was irritated. Oh, actually, I fired my main unit. I rolled plus D 7 inches, and I fired all my rifles into it. So yeah, look at the witch elves now. You got like 1 rank and 2 more in the back. So very discouraging for my opponent, I could tell. But you know, you're in the middle of the board and against a gun line, and you're a super killy, you touch me, you win the game unit. That's what you're gonna get. So I let him have it. On his turn, he moves his Corsairs up, and he merges that chariot girl into them. So he's rearranging here now. He's kind of in a horde, and he's going to fill those Corsairs in behind. But so there's another backup Witch Elf unit. I ignored the Hydras this turn. I didn't even shoot at them with my cannons because I just wanted to punish that Witch Elf unit, try to get rid of that cauldron while the Hydras still have a ways to go to move. He had failed a frenzy check with his cauldron, and he tried to charge the iron drakes, and he was like, he needed to roll boxcars, so I just stand a shot and did a few more shots to him, and he did not make that charge, so that was nice. He didn't try to charge the Rangers. I would have just fled, but he moves his little riders over there to give them some shooting on the Rangers. And then there's his Hydras moving up as fast as they can on the right hand side. And I've got my hammers over there to, if I somehow don't kill both those Hydras, I got my hammers on the right to kind of help screen those off. Hammers are pretty strong, but don't want to fight a Hydra that's not almost dead, and I don't want to fight 2 Hydras for sure. On his magic phase, he throws some lowers my ballistic skill by 2, and I believe that's what he did, and he shot him up with some magic, and that's okay. I mean, he killed a few, killed 4 with this whole magic phase. He tried to throw his template spell out, and I tried to spell eater it, and I stopped it. You know, I dispelled it, but I didn't spell eat it. So that would have been really nice. So, you know, that kills, I think, 1 ranger with his Dark Rider shooting. Strength 3 shooting, you know, it's kind of tough to kill dwarves. So there's the Rangers. So going to my turn, this turn I decide to go ahead and take care of the Hydras, and that way I can decide what I can do with my hammers, and 2 cannon shots and 2 dead Hydras. Yeah, I rolled really well on the to wound, so he didn't even get a chance to try to grow him back, and it's like erase the 2 Hydras. I could tell my opponent was very distraught. He was upset. Not that he would have made it to me on the next turn with his Hydras, but I guess maybe the threat would still be there, and I have to keep shooting at them. But yeah, they're gone. I fly my copter over to the side, and I throw a flame template down there, and I end up killing 2. So I'm leaving my copter open to that bolt thrower right there on the hill. I'm aware of that, but just trying. The only thing I'm really afraid of at the moment is anything fast getting to my war machines, because I'm just pounding these units with the artillery and my shooting. My organ gun on the far left isn't even in have a target to anything. I don't believe, because of where I had to deploy it. So this is just my one organ gun and my gun line re-rolling. So now he's moved up on his failed charge. He's within my normal range, and I can use my buff to re-roll misses. So I don't do anything with my Iron Drakes. I decided to just stay there. I'm planning to flee with them if he charges. And he does on his turn charge. And I flee. So he fails his charge. He moves his horde up into this little bit closer. He charges my Rangers with the Dark Riders. And I just held. The only reason I didn't flee, because that's the first charge he declared, and I was concerned for some reason that he'd be able to pull some shenanigans and be able to charge. So he kills the Rangers or breaks them and runs them down. He ends up there. 70 points of Rangers, kind of tying some stuff up. Maybe I might not have used them most effectively, but it's not the end of the world. So on my turn, I actually missed a few turns here. I got caught up in the game, and I apologize for that. But also, I was doing a lot of trying to make my opponent feel a little better. You can see his Witch Elves are destroyed. On my turn, I rallied my Iron Drakes. I fired my volley with my character and whatnot into the Witch Elves and killed them to the last Witch Elf. And then I start firing organ guns and whatnot at his other stuff. He was. I'm not gonna say he's a poor sport. Because he wasn't. He's a super nice guy, especially after I talked to him. But I know I've been on the receiving end of gunline stuff, and it's frustrating to play against. I would be more concerned if he wasn't taking a tournament style I will smash your face if I get to you list. But so anyway, he ends up I end up rallying. On his turn he charges the Iron Drakes and hits him with the impact hit, so he's able to get him there. And then he ends up there. And then on my turn, I should have charged him with the Slayers, but I was thinking I was going to try to remove that with the cannon shots, and I either missed with the cannon on the far right, or I elected to shoot at other targets. Oh, I did. I snipered his not snipered because it's a chariot thing. I shot his Medusa chick out of the Corsair unit. So I should have charged. That's probably the only big error I made in this game. Not big error, but I should have charged that so I wouldn't take the impact hits. Not that I'd kill it, but they would have just locked it up. So I'm moving my hammers around, and he's pretty much just got these Corsairs and the 2 bolt throwers left because he had shot down my gyrocopter. And I think I haven't even really paid any attention to the bolt throwers. So it's his basically final turn. They're kind of announcing the time, and I don't know how the time is going because I don't think we're taking that much time, but time's about up. So it's his basically final turn, and he's going to all or nothing here, and basically he's going to just go for his, not a purple sun, but it's a pretty powerful vortex, the one that I did not spell eat when I had the chance to. I didn't roll a 4, 5, or 6. So that's just him lowering my weapon skill by 1, that little dice there. And so he does end up he charges the Slayers here in a minute. But yeah, this game, it is what it is. I don't have any remorse for taking a gun line because I don't think it's like super awesome, especially against any of my other army lists. I would take these Dark Elves would have probably rolled right over the top of me. But there's the Slayers. They only take 2 from impact hits, so that's not too bad. They're going to hold there. They're going to be unbreakable. I don't end up putting any wounds on there. He does. Maybe he had one other turn. He tried to do his spell the last turn too. So then on his final turn, he does end up. You can see in the next picture, he moves his unit up point blank, and he's going to fire his template. Which, you know, the Dark Elf magic too. That's another thing. You know, that sacrificial dagger. It's like basically gets to throw 7 dice because he throws 6 dice and then stabs people to death until he is able to get another casting dice. So he throws 7. It was not irresistible, but I failed to stop it. So it's going to go. And that's after he did some other spell to me too. Lowered my weapon skill or ballistic skill or something. Weapon skill and ballistic skill by 1. But yeah, he gets the vortex off, and it comes out and basically just travels all the way down that line and bounces through the organ gun and the cannon. So in one turn he scored. None of my characters die to it, but in one turn he scores the organ gun and a cannon, which is only 240 points because they weren't ruined or anything. But that unit's down to like nothing, and he's got like 2 characters in that unit still. Because I was gonna charge it, and just try to kill off the elves. But after that, I don't think the hammers will make it. If the hammers could make it, and that unit, I mean, I would do it. But I don't want to just throw away, have him kill out my characters or anything, and so I don't charge it, and the game pretty much ends with 2 Slayers left alive there. So ends up a win. He got a couple extra points for table quarters because my 2 were contested, and his were clear. So, but yeah, it ends up with a dwarf win, but it wasn't a crushing win. It was like a 14-6 or 12-8, and pretty happy with the gun line and the results. There's a couple turns, or at least one turn where I buffed my character and forgot to do the rerolls to hits. So, you know, that's pretty important. If you're going to be taking a guy, you need to make sure you do that. I thought that the game was enjoyable. My opponent probably not so much, but after the game was over, I think it was all right, just during. But I enjoyed facing a Dark Elf army. I haven't faced them in a long time. I was very happy with the performance of my army. It's a simple army to play. Not that there's things you don't have to do. I probably didn't move my hammers over quick enough. I could have been bringing them over to try to really get a crushing victory. But so it's a dwarven win, and I'm very happy with that. We'll take a win any day. There's probably a few things to my list. I probably, after all 3 of these games, realized I don't need a second cannon. So I'm going to tailor my list a little bit, but this one's a win, and I'll be trying to get game 2 up here shortly. Thanks for watching. Comments appreciated.